So, today we're going to talk a bit about hand lettering. Now, in order to think about lettering, we need to think about some specific terms that have to do with typography, which is the study and making of type. So, generally, people will talk about a font. The font is the different look of the text. Actually, that is a typeface. So let's say we're doing a letter A. You can do your regular letter A. You can add a little dimension to your letter A. You can do all kinds of things with your letter A. The look and feel of these things, that is actually the typeface. Whatever we use to create that is technically considered the font, though you'll hear a lot of designers and illustrators use the terms interchangeably. So, within a typeface, you'll have a number of different letters and shapes. You get to your exclamation points, all your different symbols, and each one of these is a character. So within a typeface, we have characters. Now, you'll hear a lot when people are designing type or doing a paper and picking out their typeface for their papers. You'll hear the term serif or sans serif. So if you're creating something with a serif, let's say you're doing a letter T, and I'm adding these little lines. When you add those little lines, that's a serif. So, like my letter, when you see the letter I and it's like this. Those are serifs. Now, if we were to do just this boxy T and the boxy I, maybe a boxy L, those have no lines on them. Those are sans serif. Okay? Now, when you're doing hand lettering, one of the biggest difficulties that people have is, they'll design a typeface that looks like this or that. It emotes something, because if you're doing a hand lettered typeface, you're trying to most likely create an emotion or match an illustration in some way that you can't get a pre-made typeface to do. But one of the most difficult things is to get all your letters to line up. So there's two ways that your letters line up. And those are your cap line. So that's the top cap line. And then you can also think about it as where they line up on the bottom. And that is the baseline. And really finding a way to kind of draw in your baseline ahead of time or draw in your cap line ahead of time. Something to look at to feel out where the text is supposed to go will be much more successful for you. Okay, so now as you're doing hand lettering, you really want to start thinking about your letters more as shapes than as the letters. Already, um, they are just symbols, right? So, the A is a symbol for that sound within our alphabet versus being, a thing per se. So, let's say you want to do like a light, airy typeface. Start thinking about like what's light and airy. Well, clouds are light and airy. Maybe I'll do a cloud typeface. Or maybe I just want there to be like bubbles or something. So it's like, so how can we achieve that? So maybe, you start thinking about the different shapes that you want. Or maybe I just want like some speed lines on it. So what does that look like? So maybe you have your cloud A. So light and airy because of clouds. Maybe this one's kind of just like a beaker font or something. So, we'll put like a little handle down here. We'll do a little fluid line. And then do some bubbles up through it, So then it starts to feel fluid. Now, maybe it's just really fast. And, it feels really fast, so, if we put it on an angle, it'll always feel faster. So, just things to think about as you're trying to design a typeface. Start to think about how it can be a shape. Start to think about how it could be a cloud, how it could have fluid in it, how it could just be moving. And don't get so hung up on the fact that it's a letter that you're drawing. Think of it as a character. All right. Well, thank you. That's been a couple things on hand lettering today, and I hope it gives you some good places to start. Take care.